Hey everybody, what's happening? Neil back once again with a different kind of video. This time around, I'm going to be showing off my cards. And most of these cards I've unearthed from my parents' crawl space recently, so I thought I'd show them off in a one-time video. This isn't the kind of video I normally make. Normally it's, conventions and interviews and movie reviews and whatnot, but this time I'm just going to do this card video this one time. So I've got the 1989 O-Pee-Chee sheet. I have not had this since childhood. I actually got this at the radio station in London, Ontario. So thanks to Greg Sheen, who obviously is not a big hockey fan. He gave these to me because someone gave these to him, I believe. Anyway, yeah, you can see a whole lot of awesome legends up here. Hextall and Guy Lafleur and Luc Robitaille and Mike Vernon. Gotta love Mikey Vernon. Yari Curry and yeah, quite a few champions up here. People that would go on to win the Cup, or people that just won the Cup, like Al MacInnis did in 1989. Conn Smythe winner, my favorite defenseman of all time, and the reason why I was a defenseman as a kid in the 80s as well. And a couple of more legends to catch your eye. Ray Bourque and Wayne Gretzky, of course. Yeah, the great one. He was always another one of my favorite players, so I liked the Oilers and the Flames as a child. I was a bit of a hypocrite, but I was very young and I didn't care about that. I just cared about how cool certain players were. John Casey was another awesome goalie back in the day. These were all wonderful legends. A lot of these guys are in the Hall of Fame. Brett Hull, certainly, and many others. But yeah, I got the checklist down there too. That's great. So yeah, that's just sheet one. As I said, Eddie Olczyk and Ron Francis, and yeah, just too many to name. But I'll show off the other two sheets here as well, some of my favorites. So yeah, super, super cool stuff. Sheet number two has many, many, many legends. I won't show them all off because I have the whole collection, obviously, and don't want to take all day here, but this is number two. And on to number three. And this one has some more familiar faces on here, certainly. So as you can tell already, there's a couple of cards that have some value here if I were to cut them out. Or not. Mario Lemieux, his cards are always sought after, of course. The legendary Penguin. And Joe Sakic, that is his rookie card. Right there next to Bobby Smith. And yeah, a lot of people have that card, though. It wasn't really that hard to find back in '89. I remember a lot of my buddies having it. But Bobby Smith, man, I must have had like 10 of those. Yeah, there's a lot of doubles and triples, etc. of many players back in the day. So look at this sheet. It's huge. I used to have these on my wall when I lived in London, Ontario. And now I've got a couple of cards from 1979, my oldest cards, Dennis Potvin and Brian Sutter. Now I wish I had more of these 1987 O-Pee-Chee cards. This is an awesome Messier. Want a chip? And my only 1988 card, which is Mikey Vernon, Calgary Flames. On to some rookie cards. So I've got some Upper Deck cards here. These are from the 1990 season, and I've got Andrew Castles for the Habs, Curtis Joseph for the Blues, and Bob Essenza for the Winnipeg Jets. Three more Upper Deck rookies from 91-92. I've got Rob Blake, Ed Belfour, and Felix Potvin, the Cat. On the back of Eddie the Eagles card, you've got a little hologram there, and it's a nice shot of him. But there's something interesting about this card where it looks like it was punched when they seal the cards into a pack, so it looks like it got caught in that punch machine. Weird. A couple more rookies from Upper Deck 1990. Buffalo Sabres, Alexander Mogilny, and Quebec Nordiques, Matt Sundin, before he went on to be a legend with the Leafs. More rookies, I've got Owen Nolan and Mike Ricci. Some 1990 O-Pee-Chee cards, I've got Curtis Joseph's rookie, Mike Modano's rookie with the North Stars, and Mogilny again. And my 1990 Pro Set series, I've got Sergei Makarov, Curtis Joseph, and guess who? Mogilny again. More notable rookie cards that year, Rob Blake, Owen Nolan, and another Owen Nolan. And I also have Yzerman, Matt Sundin, that's his rookie with Pro Set, and Brett Hull. I just like the Yzerman and Hull cards, they're cool. The Cup champs, the Oilers, in 1990. I've also got some Pro Set Platinum performers, Ray Bork, Mario, and Brett. And I've also got Grant Fuhr, Patrick Waugh, and Ron Tugnut. Best name ever. These are Upper Deck McDonald's cards from about 2009. I got Luongo, Iginla, and Lundqvist, the king. And this is cool. Toffoli's jersey was included on this card. Marian Hossa and David Backes on these Upper Deck canvas cards. And a double Young Guns card, Connor McDavid and Sam Bennett. Time to show off just one of two basketball cards that I have. This is an awesome Michael Jordan hologram from 1991. Unfortunately, it's got a bend. Yeah, it got bent at some point a long time ago, but still very cool. Displays very nicely, and might be worth something. You never know. I gotta look it up. Larry Bird. That's the only other card I got from 1990. And now onto some baseball holograms. So these are really cool, and I got a lot of them, surprisingly. So the Baltimore Orioles here, really cool holograms, and I'll show off the rest of them as I showed some of them off in the box video earlier, the buried treasure. So yeah, you've got Dodgers and Phillies, and the Phillies one's kind of beat up. They're not in great shape, unfortunately, in terms of the corners. Got the Minnesota Twins, and holograms were so cool in the 80s and early 90s, especially as cards. The Royals, that's a nice card, but it's beat up around the perimeter there, unfortunately. It's too bad. White Sox just says Sox. Yeah, so one of two Chicago teams. I got the Cincinnati Reds. That's a cool one with the dude flying through the logo there, just running through it. And the cards, the last one, the St. Louis Cardinals. Very cool card. Yeah, good stuff. Gotta love these holograms, of course. But just nothing on the back at all. Just, just blank. Yeah, they display very nicely, though. You just plop that down there. There you go. Now for some Don Russ 1990 baseball cards. I got a couple of Bo Jacksons. And I got Nolan Ryan and Tracy Jones. Ryan might be worth something. So I got a Fleer 1990, Will Clark 10th anniversary, and a 1989 Eric Davis. I've also got this rookie card for Jim Abbott and Ben McDonald. All right, folks, and that brings us right up to today with hockey cards. I got a few more to show off, but I thought I would open this Tim Hortons pack since I just got it today. I have no idea who's inside these 3 cards. They give you 3 cards every time. And I'll show off the other 2 packs that I've already opened. And they're very cool. It's a nice variety of images and players. So let's open this bad boy up. Not much to show, really, of the package, but I'm going to try and open it. It is hard to open. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt, but we'll get her open there. Yeah, use scissors. Yeah, all right, there we go. And, ooh, I got Matt Sundin right off the bat. Very nice. One of the best Swedish players ever. One of the best players to not win the cup, I'd say. Him and Alfredsson and Lundqvist, his fellow Swedes. Grant Fuhr, very nice. And it's a really nice look to that card. Very different. It's not shiny. It looks old school. And here's a shiny card as well of, wow, Valancourt. Wow, that's really cool. I got another female player. There's the back of Grant Fuhr. Very cool. And so I also got Joe Nieuwendyk, 2 cards previously, Calgary and Dallas. And then I got Brad Richards and Guy Carbonneau with the Habs. And 2 female cards I got so far, Manon Rhéaume and Catherine Ward. So there's the back of Manon Rhéaume, the very first female NHL player. Now, on to some wrappers. Before I get into my Marvel Universe cards, I'm going to just show off these wrappers for nostalgia's sake because they're pretty cool. I'm really happy that my 12-year-old self decided to keep these. These are Marvel Universe Series 2 wrappers. I guess I don't have any the Series 1, but oh well. And of course I've got some hockey cards. That's from my very favorite line of hockey cards, my very favorite series. Definitely the 1990-91 Upper Decks and Star Wars Galaxy 1 and 2 as well. Yeah, the Upper Deck 90 and 91 though, I mean, those are my favorite cards for sure. So I definitely want to keep those in good shape. But anyway, those are the wrappers. And now I've got some other cards to show off here. This is a special set from the mid 2010s, somewhere around 2016, I think. Just collecting these cards from an Upper Deck guy who came into the radio station one day and said, "Here you go, you can have this." I think. I'm not even sure where I got this. I think that's right, but it's been a while, so oh well. Yeah, so cool. Ovechkin and Gretzky down there. Just kind of a guide to collecting hockey cards. If you don't know how, this is the way. Well, I'll tell you, I've packed all these cards in here pretty tight, and they're double-sided, which may be a no-no for valuable cards, but these cards aren't really valuable. If they're valuable, I tend to single them, but see, they're back-to-back here with the Ducks and the Coyotes, and so obviously these are from a few years ago. A lot of these players are not with the same team. A lot of the players have retired. Shane Doan, he's one of the best Coyotes ever. And then the Bruins, well, they blew it this year. 65 wins for nothing. Oh, anyway, the Sabres, well, I hope they make the playoffs next year. They've really been missing the playoffs for about a dozen years now, so time for them to make the playoffs. Same with the Senators and the Flames. And I grew up a Flames fan, of course, because I was a big fan of Al McInnes and Lanny McDonald and Dougie Gilmore and Johnny Gaudreau. He's not there anymore, of course. Carolina, well, they could win the Cup this year, huh? Yeah, you never know. Or it could be Florida. Who the hell knows? These teams are fairly surprising. I did pick Carolina at the start of the season, though. I know no one believes that now. But anyway, so yeah, some of my favorite Blackhawks here. Duncan Keith, Conn Smythe winner, and on to Johnny Toews. Well, I wish him the best. I really do. He's had an amazing career. So all the best to you, buddy. And then on to the Avalanche. And same with Landeskog. I think he's having a hard time with surgery and stuff like that. He's really hurt, so I hope he's okay. And keep on cruising here through this. I'll try to go fairly fast, but I want to show off all these cards because they are beautiful cards. And I got a couple of Gretzky's. These are really cool Gretzky cards. I got the Platinum Performer again, and then this other Upper Deck card. And that's a cool Tampa Bay Lightning card. And the Carlson card is really cool too as well. I'm from Ottawa, Ontario, so naturally I'm an Ottawa Senators fan. I was a Flames and Oilers fan as a kid, but nowadays I cheer for the Sens. I still like pretty much all the Canadian teams, though. I have no hate for any Canadian team, despite what people may assume when you say you're a Sens fan or whatever. Alfredson, yeah, of course I've got Alfie, and Broder, and Holtby. These are champions. And Alfredson led his team to the finals in 2007. That was an amazing run. Dion Phaneuf, he was on the team in 2017 when they went on their last great run to the conference finals. I got some of these scorecards as well, and they're cool. Some Upper Deck Mats Naslund. No, Marcus Naslund. Mats Naslund from the 80s. Marcus Naslund with the Canucks. Spezza and, well, Phillips. A couple of legends here in Ottawa. Crosby. And so many other, more score cards here. Alfredson and Neal. And I've seen so many Sens games. I've gone to so many games down at Lansdowne, back in the day, and then at the Canadian Tire Center, as it's called now, in Canada. But looking forward to the new arena in years to come. And Clark MacArthur, great dude. Wish him all the best in retirement. He had a great run with the Sens as well back in 2017. And last card is Mika Zibanejad, who is now a New York Ranger, my favorite Ranger, because he played with the Sens, and he was pretty cool. And same with Pajot, he's my favorite Islander, of course. Anytime a beloved Senator moves on to another team, you got to keep rooting for them. But that's it. You got to collect the best. So that's all Upper Deck there. And speaking of which, I've got this box of raw loose cards here as well. So this is Upper Deck Series 1 from 2015-2016. And these are the kind of leftover ones. These are the ones that aren't really worth anything. So I just kind of chucked them in there for storage. It's just a mix of dudes. Oh, and I've got a Justice League Unlimited card here of the Flash. That's the Wally West Flash that came with the action figure. Awesome. Anyway, got some Stars and Panthers in there. Hey, those are two teams that are still in the playoffs. So You never know how that's going to go, eh? But anyway, pretty cool stuff. And now, time for what everyone's been waiting for. The best of the best in the binders here. I've got 2 binders to show with a bunch of comic book cutouts there, a lot of Jim Lee art. But these are the rookie cards. I'm going to show off first the llast 2 sheets of hockey cards. Got Belfour, I've got Yager, I've got Rod Brindamore and Sergei Fedorov, Theoren Fleury as well. And yeah, mostly pro set there, of course. So these are single carded packed here. So, I'm taking good care of these. My McInnes and Gretzky cards, that McInnes card right in the middle is my very favorite, that Upper Deck 1990 card. And those 3 Gretzkys are pretty sweet too, the Pro Set and the Upper Deck. I just love those cards. I don't know if they're worth anything. I don't really care. They're just my 2 favorite players of all time. So that's why I held on to those cards. And naturally, yeah, really good stuff. And yeah, McInnes being my favorite defenseman. I got the All-Star card there, which I think was a McDonald's card, and then I got the Pro Set. So good stuff. Those are single packed cards. On to the X-Men. All right, so here we go with superheroes. The X-Men cards, these are all turned around in that way, but that's okay. These are back-to-back, and if you don't like that, I'm sorry, but I don't really care. I mean, it's, just about showing off the backs of the cards, I guess, is why people do that. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. Harley Quinn is not an X-Men. No, I actually got this from Harley Quinn Smith herself at a convention in Cornwall, Ontario, a few weeks ago, and they made it in the same design as these X-Men cards. So I thought I would throw that in there on purpose, and not a bad place to keep it. So Cape, yeah, that's Cornwall's convention there. So yeah, really, really cool con, and she was really sweet gal as well. Nice to meet her. Her dad's really cool. Maybe I'll meet her dad one day. I met Jay Muse once, but anyway, she was covering up Farrell there. So love the artwork on these X-Men cards from the early 90s. I think this is 91, 92, something like that. So yeah, fantastic stuff. And I can't wait for X-Men 97, which is coming to Disney Plus before you know it. So yeah, Multiple Man, Quicksilver, Rogue, one of my favorites. Yeah, some of these, there's a few that I don't remember the characters very well at all, but certainly will remember Deadpool, and that's a really cool card. It may have some value, but I've got a few of those, so no worries. I got doubles and triples of all these X-Men cards. It was one of my favorite card lines of all time. Sabretooth, I've got many of him. I don't have any doubles of these, though. Black Tom, Mystique, Sauron. Yeah, the werewolves, I remember them from the 80s. They were creepy. And the Brood, of course, was very creepy. Yeah, some good stuff, though. Some of these characters are classic. The White Queen, wow, she looks great. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to show off pretty much all of these. Those are the 2 teams. The gold team, led by Storm, and the blue team, led by Cyclops. So, yeah, you will know this if you've been reading comics for the last 32 years. Because ever since 1991, they split up the team that way for a little while, and a lot of things changed since then. Yeah, Dark Phoenix, Longshot, talk about 80s, Magique, really liked her. I liked how Anya Taylor-Joy played her in The New Mutants as well, very cool. Dazzler, also very 80s, but she's cool. And then this one here, this card is, well, it's one big collage here of 9 different mutants, and yeah, they did a pretty good job putting this together. I don't recall if this is actually from a comic. It might be from an issue, but they may have just made it for the cards. I'm not sure, but it's the Danger Room sequence, and I got all of them here clearly, and the checklist as well. And on to the Star Wars Galaxy cards. So I have most of these, not all of them, but they are beautiful. And again, I did pack these back to back to save space a long time ago, like 30 years ago or so. They're from about the mid-90s, I believe. And a lot of these are based on photographs, of course, of the actors and characters. And a lot of it is also based on Macquarie's concept art, which was originally used to sell the movie back in the day. And we've got a card representing the first appearance of Boba Fett in the animated portion of the Star Wars Holiday Special, which is just a bona fide classic and hilarious. And just more sketches here, just wonderful artwork, and that's the real reason why I collected these. I think they're really, really cool, and I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, so, somewhere in the 90s and 92, 93, or whenever I started collecting them. Really happy I did. It's a beautiful Leia, and that beast there is from Super Return of the Jedi, I think. So some of these concepts made it into other mediums for Star Wars. A lot of them are posters, a lot of them are T-shirts. Of course, I have that one bottom right as a poster. Most people do, if they're a Star Wars fan. And yeah, so I mean, just keeps going. I might as well show them all here. But yeah, there's that alternate sequel to Star Wars, which was called Splinter of the Mind's Eye. And that's the middle right one there. But let's flip it over and go to some more. Yeah, really cool designs. I love that Empire Strikes Back middle card at the top. That's really cool. Love the designs of these things. So many great posters. I wish I had more posters based on this artwork, because man, yeah, it's just fantastic. Revenge of the Jedi, yeah, the original poster. I'd like to have that poster too. And some funny ones, some holiday ones, birthday and Christmas and whatnot. But yeah, these are all in really good shape. I mean, the question is, do I bother getting them graded or not? Well, I don't know about these ones, but maybe some of the rookie cards. I mean, certainly some of the doubles can get graded, and well, they're doubles and triples, so if I lose them, it's not the end of the world, really. Um, but anyway, yeah, so yeah, Star Wars cards, I mean, geez, they just go on. There's a lot of them. Love that Boba Fett and Dengar. Some of this art looks like it's from maybe Dark Empire, some comic books, the Dark Horse stuff, and yeah, oh, that's cool. I love that shot with 21B, the medic droid, with Luke's hand. That's really cool. And yeah, so, oh man, these are so awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad I held on to these for so long. Oh, that's a beautiful Princess Leia card as well. Wonderful artwork. I was lucky to meet a handful of these actors and people that worked on Star Wars, some of which have since passed away. And yeah, Star Wars is really special to me, and yeah, I got the checklist too. Yeah, so there. Okay, so these cards here, these creators, I think I'm missing a couple of those, and that's why it's not a complete set. So I should seek them out. Now, on to the DC cards, and I do not have all of these by any stretch of the imagination either. I just kind of put them all together, back to back. I don't think they're worth a lot. I mean, there might be one or two that's worth something, but not as far as I've ever known. But these are some of my favorite characters. I just put them together. They're not, in any real order. So, just the favorites there. Blue Beetle, love that guy. There's a spot missing there because there's some schmutz there, and I didn't want to put a card there. So, but I'm a big fan of Justice League of America, Justice Society, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Green Lantern, and especially John Stewart and Hal Jordan. I don't have the Silver Age one, but anyway, yeah, Guy Gardner, all the Green Lanterns, love them, and yeah, all these characters, some of which have died and then come back from the dead, and we got some of the more obscure characters maybe here. Fire, she's really cool. I really like that card, the Green Fire. Yeah, Fire and Ice, both very cool characters. From the 90s, Raven, another very popular character with Teen Titans, and Deathstroke, when he was called Deathstroke the Terminator, but he's mainly just called Slade now, Slade Wilson. And of course, Wade Wilson is, his name is a parody of that name. So, Metamorpho, very cool character as well. Black Manta, love him. Great villain, great story. And that's what it's all about. It's not just about great looking characters and great artwork. Of course, it's about great stories too. That's why I love DC and Marvel so much. And I still read a lot of those books, and I reread the books that I still have. So, what to do with these cards? Do I complete this collection? I don't know. I love these Jack Kirby characters, Mr. Miracle, Big Barda, his wife, Martian Manhunter, oh man, Deadshot, and Arisia, and Kilowog. Oh, how could you not love Kilowog? He's awesome. Yapoozer. And yeah, so many great characters here. Granny Goodness, Darkseid himself, Steppenwolf. Yeah, more Jack Kirby classics. Oh man, yeah. I hope they do it justice in live action one day. I mean, Nolan's long, uncut 4x3 one wasn't so bad. But anyway, Looney Tunes cards, and they're all baseball cards, I guess. I don't remember these very well. I don't remember collecting them. But I guess I got a bunch of these Looney Tunes cards that are baseball cards. So why not? And then I've got some others here, and looks like I just got 3 left, and then some Turtles cards underneath, because of course in 89, 90, 91, the Turtles were huge, so I got a few of those, and a few more Looney Tunes as well. And Batman cards. So I've got Bruce Wayne, I've got Commissioner Gordon, I've got Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, the DA, and I've got Jack Palance as Grissom, and then this card in the middle here is, well, it's interesting. These are all great cards. I'm glad I kept these. Oh, man. You had to be there in 1989 to really know it. But anyway, this card in the middle is obviously a behind the scenes, because this never happened, right? The Joker came in and shot him. So, yeah, they never met like this and never had like some kind of a meeting, trying to make a bargain. No deals, Grissom. So that never happened. And Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Well, Kevin Costner with no English accent, and that might have been a good thing. Sir Guy Gisborne, Michael Wincott, one of my favorite actors, and Christian Slater. Yeah, this was great. Great cards anyway. I obviously just collected these for fun. Hey, I've got a Morgan Freeman card. Hey, that's awesome. I never thought I'd have a Morgan Freeman card, but I do. It's Morgan Freeman, and I do a very, very bad impression. Anyway, so there's more padding there and some more Jim Lee art, and that's it for this binder. And now we've come to the end, the final binder, and I have a million copies of X-Men #1, so this one I cut up way back in 91, 92, whenever, and these are my Marvel cards, folks. And of course I've got lots of comic book art as well on the side. Little Daredevil, although that's actually Bullseye disguised as Daredevil. And Spidey, Here they are, the Marvel Universe cards, Series 1. Now, these were worth a lot, but then I believe the values come down quite a bit. These have been double-sided, packed this way since 1990, so if you're not down with that, well, sorry, too bad. I didn't really think they're worth much. It's just that you don't see the back of the cards, I guess, but that's okay. Everyone knows what they look like. Very nice collection of cards. I really like the way that they did the borders for them, around them. Of course, I have not all of them. I wish I did have all of them. That Moon Knight card's really cool with the white border. But there, as you can see, I'm missing Spider-Man right there in the middle, in between Aunt May and Cosmic Spider-Man, and I'm missing the Human Torch as well, next to Silver Surfer. And Captain America's motorcycle, as well as his own card. Yeah, I mean, they just went all out for these. Doctor Strange, Havoc, Colossus, yeah. Love these characters, and that's Wolverine, as in Patch Wolverine, from his solo series. Rogue in the middle, love her. Sugar, and the Punisher's van as well got his own card. Yeah, I mean, that's how popular the Punisher was back then, And there's the Punisher with Beast and Mohawk Storm. Yeah, one of my very favorite comic book characters and favorite looks. Definitely my favorite look for Aurora Monroe. Elektra and Baron Zemo and Loki and so many well-known characters. The Kingpin. Looking forward to Daredevil Born Again. That's going to be awesome. Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch! Yeah. And so many other classic villains. Magneto, Doctor Doom, and Bullseye. And I have the first appearance of Bullseye and the first appearance of Mr. Sinister as well. So, yeah. Got to maybe get those ones appraised. I have multiples of these cards anyway, so I may send some of these off to PSA. All these raw cards, well, some of them anyway, may be worthwhile getting graded by whatever company. It doesn't have to be PSA, it can be anybody. The Venom card is very cool. I like Green Goblin. Man, I really want to see Galactus done well in live action. That would be just superb. What are you going to do? Rookie cards. So that's the new Ghost Rider there. And a few others that some people don't remember. Yeah, so obviously famous battles. And these are all kind of sideways. But that's okay. I probably won't show off all of these cards. I'm just gonna kind of flip through them. Really, Daredevil versus the Kingpin, and Spider-Man, and Craven, and yeah, just wow, so awesome. So anywhere you see, a spot that shows the back of the card, that's what I don't have. But I do have most of them. So there's an example right there. I don't even know which card that is offhand, but obviously it's one of these kind of famous battles or team pictures or something. But I don't know, I'm not missing too many of them, and they're not too expensive to buy, so I could probably complete this set. The Green Goblin and the Spider-Man, that's the only hologram I don't have. I'll show those off in a second. But that's the non-holographic version. The holograms are the same thing as these cards. They're just holographic versions. Wolverine versus Captain America. Always a cool battle back in the 40s. Yep. And yep. So more of these. Missing another one there in the top right. And one at the top, or bottom right, I should say. I think that's Amazing Fantasy 15 that I'm missing. Yeah, so famous covers, MVP, these are the comics that you want to invest in if you buy comics for investments. I don't really. If I happen to have a comic in great shape and it's worth something and I want to sell it, absolutely I'll sell it. But, I don't buy to make money in the future when it comes to comics or cards. Because when I was a kid, I just bought all these because I loved the comics, and I love hockey, and I love, anything else that the cards are based on. So, yeah, got most of these teams, classic teams, and they're very dated, as you can tell from the teams as they appeared in 1990. And then these jokey cards with Spider-Man. These are, well, they're kind of lame. They're kind of like, wah, wah, but, at the same time, they're kind of cute, too. I kind of dig them. I don't know. I got a soft spot for them. What can I say? They're not very funny, but they're kind of funny because they're not funny. I don't know. Yeah, so I have all of them except for Doctor Strange, I think. I'm missing the Doctor Strange one. That's the only one I'm missing. And I've got a checklist there as well. There's the Wolverine card. And yeah, obviously marked the whole checklist there for the most part. I don't have a clean one, unfortunately. All right, now, the holograms. Yeah, these are super awesome. I love them to death, and I wish I had all 5 of them, but I have 4 of them from Marvel Universe Series 1. So, Cosmic Spidey, Magneto, Silver Surfer, and Wolverine. And I'll try to move the camera around and see if that'll make them all colorful and stuff. I mean, you guys know what the holograms do. I mean, what are you going to do? The X-Men ones here are from the previous X-Men card line I just showed off, of course, the blue cards, and I'm missing a few of those. This Stan Lee card, I made sure to protect this one because apparently it's worth quite a bit, especially if I get it graded. It's just a raw card now, but the corners are really nice, and I've kept this bad boy in great shape for a long time. So that's the big question if I get that one graded, because if so, it could be worth a few hundred. We'll see. I don't know. Now on to Series 2, and I have just about all of these cards. I think I'm missing one of these cards and all the holograms. So unfortunately, that's it for holograms, folks. That's all I got. Some of these cards are very popular, and they do sell for maybe 10, maybe even $20. Some of the rookie cards, but most of them aren't worth that much, especially raw. If they're graded, sure, they might be worth $10, $20, maybe even 30. But no, not really. These aren't really worth that much. And I have doubles and triples of most of these. Firestar from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. It's really cool that she got a card. U.S. Agent, Banshee, Beast. I love Beast. He's so underrated. Jubilee and Rogue. Rogue is another personal favorite, of course, just like Storm. I know nobody cares about my favorites, except for me, But yeah, I'll just keep showing off Marvel Universe 2. Keep on cruising, Wolverine and Cyclops. Awesome, awesome stuff. A lot of these villains I was introduced to thanks to the Acts of Vengeance storyline, where they had a crossover where the villains and heroes would swap dance partners. They would swap opponents. And it was really cool. So you had the Mandarin showing up on X-Men, and you had Magneto tussling with Spider-Man. Of course, Spider-Man was a cosmic Spidey at the time, unfortunately for Magneto. And yeah, I mean, more villains here, more and more villains. Nebula looks different. My goodness, so much different from the movie for sure. Doctor Doom, Red Skull, all the classics, and all the battles, and all the team ups, and just keep on cruising through them here. I don't want this video to be too long. It's already pretty long. So yeah, and looks like the card I'm missing is, I think it's stamina. Yeah, so there's a clean checklist there and a few others. So I got a couple of Spider-Man cards that are very flashy here. I'll show off the rest of those in a minute. There's the checklist and the back of the cards. Yeah, I'm just missing that one stamina card and all the holograms from that series, unfortunately. What are you going to do? Marvel Series 3. I did not collect this in an extensive way by any means. In fact, I only kept the cards that I liked. Any other cards I gave away or, just threw away, whatever. But yeah, these are the cool ones. The Daredevil, the Spider-Man, my favorite characters. A lot of these characters that are big deals now. Black Panther, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Black Widow. I mean, the list goes on. Namor, Submariner. He was just in Wakanda Forever. And Doctor Doom, and so on and so forth, and Captain America's origin. Love these X-Men cards, especially the Rogue in the middle. I really like the artwork there. She looks fantastic, flying through the air. So, big fan of Rogue. Have you guessed that yet? Yes. Have I mentioned that? Yes. Too many times. All right, so more Series 3 here of Marvel Universe cards, and this is pretty much where I ended. All right, and then we've got some other cards here that came with Wizard Magazine back in the day. Some came with comics. So these cards that I didn't really collect, but they're really cool, especially that Storm in the middle. Wow, that's fantastic artwork. Gambit's cool as well. Bishop, Magneto, and I've got a car card as well. Huh. It looks like I'm missing a slot. That's okay, but there's a card here. I don't know what that is. Interesting. Okay. I guess that's one of a kind. That's all right, fine. Moving on to Spider-Man. Yeah, so the Spider-Man series of cards, I don't have them all by any stretch either, but they're pretty cool. I dig them. And yeah, I mean, all obviously based on the old Steve Ditko artwork, and all the way up through, up to the 70s, 80s, and everything. Right up to the 90s, and these cards were somewhere in the 90s, 93, 94, whenever these came out, I forget. But I don't have that many of them, and yeah, obviously I've got some extra space for some more of them here. Is that about it? Almost. Nice Venom cards. Yeah, I really like that Venom card in the middle. That was a really cool storyline during The Amazing Spider-Man, where Venom thought he killed Spidey, but he didn't. And so a couple more with Green Goblin and the Symbiote Spider-Man, and that may be all. Oh, one more with Rhino. Rhino, yeah. And we'll end on some Amazing Spider-Man and X-Men art. So thanks for tuning into this card video, guys. Until next time, peace.